Texas, for a lot of reasons, beat themselves yesterday in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Final score was 34-41. There's a lot to get into with this game, and I don't want to take too much away from Oklahoma State because they played great. I mean, it was homecoming. Mike Gundy had that crowd going. Defense did enough. Spencer Sanders did enough. Like, that program won that game yesterday. If you're a Texas fan waking up this morning, though, you can't help but feel like there was a whole lot of money left on the table. And in our preview for this game, we picked Texas because we knew there would be money to be had. As a Texas fan, you saw it yesterday, and you saw time and time again there was a lack of ability to cash in. And that's okay. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the money that was left out there just makes you sick watching it back today. Like, this is going to be a tough game to watch back for Longhorn fans, for the people in that program that have to watch the film today or Monday, whatever it is. That's going to be a tough one to sit back and watch. It's one of those games where you just kind of watch it and you just squirm. Because it wasn't like you weren't, in a lot of ways, it felt like they were the better team, right? Led for the entirety of the game. It felt like until the end, at least, they were up 31-17 at one point, just couldn't cash in. Right around 15 overthrows for Quinn Ewers. It was his first real road start. I know we had the game in the Red River rivalry, but that was kind of a neutral site game. It is a neutral site game. This was his first true road test. And a lot of wins, so I don't want to say he failed that, but he was also right around 19 or 49. So not really efficient with the football. Xavier Worthy had a very catchable pass when I watch it back that was not caught in the end zone that would have given them the lead 34-34 at the time. The game was tied. 5 minutes left to go in the game. Great throw by Ewers. Worthy just can't really keep his feet. Doesn't catch the touchdown. End up missing a field goal. Lack of tackling. Oklahoma State catches an in-breaking route. And it feels like you have him down, right? Like, he's wrapped up, 2 or 3 Longhorns around him. Don't finish the play, aren't able to get him on the ground. He scores, go-ahead touchdown. Even at the end of the game, there was a minute left where Texas had the ball, and you got Sanders running an in-breaking route, like sort of a seam post over the middle. He's open, gets hit in the hands, ball goes up in the air, interception going the other way. That's the game. So many times Texas could have finished this game, could have taken the game, rather, even on the very last series. There was money on the table. We knew there would be, and Texas wasn't able to cash in. Now, here's the good news. A lot of people today are going to sit here with a mic and a camera and tell you, wow, old Texas, guess what? Old Texas is back. You thought Texas was back, they're not. Now, hang on. We never said Texas was back to begin with. Second of all, those people just looked at the box score, didn't really watch the game. It's the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. What you saw yesterday wasn't old Texas, because old Texas had a lot of rotten issues internally, a lot of culture issues that showed up on tape. You would see guys jogging after the play in pursuit of a guy running down the sideline for a touchdown. You would see guys having low effort. You would see guys having poor attitude. I mean, you heard as much from Bo Davis on that bus rant. The fact that that bus rant even got recorded should tell you a lot about where that program was at the time. It's family business. You don't record what's going on the bus, but whatever. What you saw yesterday from Texas was a lot of inexperience. Guys that, quite frankly, hadn't been in those situations before. We talked about it with Quinn Ewers, his first true road start. That was new for him. The good news is he's going to get a lot better. Steve Sarkisian said at postgame, he told Ewers, there's a lot better days ahead for you three. There's a lot of good things ahead for you. But the reality is, it wasn't good enough yesterday. But it wasn't for a lack of culture. It wasn't for a lack of things that are built within that program, or guys just straight up not caring, not trying, being selfish. That wasn't what showed itself yesterday. It was the inexperience and the young guys in a moment that was just new. And so that's okay. There's a reason for a lot of optimism going forward. Now, on top of all of that, when you look to what's ahead the rest of the season, the reality is you probably just lost your mulligan. You have 2 losses now in conference, and 2 is kind of the magic number. If you win out the rest of the way, you will, at the very least, be in the conversation to make that Big 12 title game. Some things kind of have to happen around the conference. But in reality, there's a chance for you to still be able to be in that game. Have a bye week, get yourself right, go to the Little Apple, play Kansas State. It'll be a tough game. Play TCU, who, in my opinion, as of today, is the big dog in that conference. The record reflects as much. You go to Kansas, which probably is a little bit more difficult of a test than you perceived it to be going into the year. You play Baylor. Dave Aranda's the head coach. Need I say more? Then you got the Big 12 title game potentially if you handle business and get some things to lean your way. The season is in no way, shape, or form shipped down the river. A lot of people were talking about, could they make the college football playoff if they went out? In reality, that was probably never going to happen. And we said as much on this program, but there is still a ton to play for within this program, within this locker room. So the more good news that you have, if you're in that locker room or a Texas fan, you get to learn even more about this program and learn even more about this culture. Because culture doesn't grow from good things. Culture doesn't grow from winning games. Culture grows from having to break down that entire operation and build it back up. It's not fed with wins. It's fed with tough losses and learning from that. It's like a muscle. You got to break it down to build it back up and be stronger. And I think Texas, from yesterday, they're going to hate to watch that film. They're going to be kicking themselves, but they will be better because of that game yesterday. It makes you sick today, but I promise you, whether it's later this year or it's in 2 years or next year, whatever it is, this loss will serve to be a building block for what's to come in Austin. So again, Texas takes the L, left money on the table. They're a young program. This is not old Texas. This is still new Texas. A lot ahead of them going forward. I'm JD Piquel. This has been The Hard Count. Nick Brake does the real heavy lifting. You can help drive this whole operation by subscribing to the channel. Would love to have you along for the ride. Also, follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. I'm at JD Piquel. We interact a lot there, do a lot there that we incorporate here. So make sure that you try and get involved in the community that way as well. With that being said, we're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.